All right, should we go on to our next segment?
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
am so excited. Guys, what we're going to do is with the NBA talking about extending, we thought it would be a lot of fun if we just ran some mock scenarios for teams that we believe deserve to have an NBA team. And then we can kind of give you our take on some teams and cities that probably should pack it up and go elsewhere. JD, you have the floor, my man.
Yeah, and you know what, Doc? I feel like this could be very controversial. We might
Oh, yeah.
be poking the bear here on a few of these teams because I know some of these fan bases are extremely passionate. So
Mm-hmm.
take this with a grain of salt. We know that a lot of these fan bases can really get into it, but we do really believe that a lot of different cities here in the U.S., they deserve, some NBA teams, or maybe the market would let an NBA team thrive. So it's just kind of some speculation, some fun, new
We're just having
segment we're
fun,
doing.
guys.
Let us know what you think. But
Yeah, it's all
just
fun,
coming in,
guys. It's all having fun.
we kind of wanted to break it down. We're looking at 5 teams today, at least 5 potential deserving cities that would be getting a team. We'll be looking at some potential names for these teams, maybe related to the cities or the states involved. And then we used some AI, to generate some logos of what it might look like. So the scary part about this all too is we wanted to do some teams that could be relocating, maybe not so much undeserving, but teams that just haven't done too well in the past and, maybe would do better in a different market. So first and foremost, we wanted to look at an obvious one here, and that is in Las Vegas, Nevada. Did you want to talk a little bit about them, Doc?
Absolutely. Like, I think Vegas is almost like a complete shoe-in when the NBA expands because of the market they have there. I mean, look at the Vegas Aces. They're a great example. They have a massive following for a WNBA team. Like, it's huge. They have a huge following there for a WNBA team. And the WNBA appeared really in the early mid 90s. So like they don't even have the same kind of 75, 76 year history that the NBA does. And they're still putting butts in seats because people like watching them play. That's how much that fan base loves basketball. The in-season tournament, the finals, they're going to be held in Vegas. Summer League. When we think of Summer League, it's in Vegas. Like, there is a huge basketball following there. Not to mention they have tons of arenas. They have the Sphere, which if I have not seen in person, but I have heard things about it, and it is just like it's alien almost because it just is crazy, like it's so next level in technology. So like I can just see that place really, really popping with an NBA team.
Oh yeah,
it just makes sense.
And can I tell you something, Doc? I'm
Yes.
gonna throw on a tinfoil hat here for us.
Oh,
I
love
think
this.
that the in-season tournament being held there, as well as some other games being held there, I think they're trying to see how big of a base maybe some fans would go and watch if they had a team go over there. I don't think it's going to be too long before Las Vegas has a team. So moving forward with that, we came up with some names. We ran it through ChatGPT to see, what ChatGPT would think for some names. And this is what we came up with here. Got the Vegas Aces, the Gamblers. Obviously, that would be an interesting one. The Mirage, I liked.
How they picked the Aces, and the Aces is already a team.
Yeah, it's true. They
like,
just they'd relocate from WNBA to the NBA.
Yes.
Or maybe when they were making the team, they had some type of AI simulator, and they're like, you know what, this is a good name.
That's the one. Let's move with it.
No, but Mirage, I think, is cool because it's a deserty area. Neon, if you think of the neon lights, there's some fun names here. But both Doc and I really liked the Las Vegas Showtime.
Yeah, that's a fantastic name because
I thought it was sweet.
When I think of Showtime, I automatically think of like the Showtime Lakers during that era, and that was a very fun era of basketball. But the Vegas Showtime, just pardon my language, but that's a badass name. Like, that's a cool name. That's fun. And that kind of shows you what Vegas is all about. Like, Vegas is Showtime to me.
Exactly. We came up with some logos here, and On the
These are
left, I
fun.
liked that one. The right, I thought was my favorite of all the ones that we collected. It just like really pops out at you as maybe like something Showtime might. So it's
Yeah.
just kind of fun. Here's
I
another
like
one
that.
too.
Ooh, I really like that. I like the color scheme on the one to the right that was red, blue, and gold. You can make that work. Like that would be, you can make that work on a uniform. You really could.
Yeah, I agree. It'd be sweet.
And this one's not bad either. All right, let's
Yeah.
go into this. And remember, guys, this is all for fun. We're not saying that Memphis should have their team ripped out from under them. We're just stating a little bit of our opinion, just having a good time with our mock
This is the first
expansion.
one that's going to be a little controversial here because
Yeah,
I'm sure Memphis
not
has a
lying.
great fan base. But if you move to Tennessee, well, Nashville, Tennessee, you're still in Tennessee. You just move a few hours away, you know, and then you get a little bit bigger of a market, larger appeal. And so you can keep those Memphis fans, and then you can get some more of fans around Tennessee, stuff like that. And so with that, you know, you could remain with as the Nashville Grizzlies, but we came up with some names as well. We feel like Nashville could be a great market for an NBA team.
Yes.
And so here's some potential names. There was Nashville Rhythm. You could even move it to Tennessee too, because as we know, you know, Tennessee could encapsulate the entire state. Got Tennessee Twisters. I really like the Nashville Legends. You know, there's a lot of music legends that were there, that are there, kind of fun. But I ultimately really like the Nashville Sounds. I think that's a fun one, especially with the music-oriented city. You know, it's just that's what it's known for. You know,
I like the Rhythm too. Though I think those two are my favorite.
That's it's cool.
Music City Ballers.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of some type of Globetrotters type name, you know. It's like,
dude, AI is so much fun.
Some of these are a little interesting, like the Nashville Blues. It wouldn't really work too well, you know. You got Utah Jazz, the Blues. I don't know. But some logos that we came up with for the Nashville Sounds, or just Nashville in general. Got a few here. Got the basketball orient around it. Kind of fun.
Sorry, like, if you could hear that, my dogs are going crazy upstairs. I apologize.
Oh, I can't hear it.
Oh,
maybe
perfect.
They won't either.
Good.
And then here we have the Nashville Sounds. On this one on the right, Doc, I think we both like that one, right?
Yeah, that's just clean, and it makes sense. You can slap that on a uniform just by itself and put the number, you know, right under it. I love that so much.
It's a fun logo for sure. It's got like that N basically, if you can kind of see it, and then it's put into a note. So that's a really cool one. I liked it, as well as the left one. I think like I could definitely see something like that, you know?
Yeah, I mean they could run both too if they really wanted to.
That's a good point.
I love that note though. Like I think that's what makes the Jazz like such a fun team in terms of like just like branding and logoing. Like they have the Jazz note. It's a basketball. Like that is very similar in that it's clean, it's fresh. You know what it is. Like I love that. Very simplistic, very well put together.
All right, this one here, you're gonna have to take the reins on because I don't know if I agree with it too much.
All right, all right, guys, hear me out. The Utah Jazz get moved to Salt Lake City, and St. George, an up-and-coming city here in Utah, as Utah continues to grow, gets their own team. So I know a lot of people, there might be some backlash over this, especially if you're not from Utah or live here currently and don't understand how rabid our fan base is in terms of sports. But one of the greatest sports rivalries in college basketball and football is the University of Utah, it's true, versus BYU. In terms of college rivalries, that is up there with Ohio and Michigan, in my opinion.
No,
yes,
come on,
it is.
Doc.
Yes, it is. And you understand this. There is a rabid feeding fan base who just needs sports here. You move a team to St. George, you will create a rivalry that will be noticed throughout the entire NBA. I'm telling you, every single game they play against one another would sell out. Like, you know that every single time Utah and BYU is on TV, it's always nationally televised. Every single time, man. And that's because there's a fierce rivalry there. It may not be as big as some of the others, but in my opinion, it's definitely up there. I think with the kind of fan base that is here in Utah, we would create a similar rivalry. Merchandise would be flying off the shelves. You would have two teams that are within the same state playing each other in professional sports for the first time in Utah history. I mean, we go crazy for Utah and BYU. If we had the Salt Lake City Jazz versus, we'll say, the St. George Copperheads, okay? I'm telling you, you would sell out those arenas. You just absolutely would.
See, I just think that every state, or most all states, can have rivalries in their college programs and they go berserk. I think a large market, if I were somebody who was investing in an NBA team, the only aspect about Utah that I agree with you is the fan base is a little crazy, but even more so, I think Utah is growing.
Yes.
And so that is an aspect, but there's other fan bases that have rivalries that are crazier. I just don't think but
that's outside of states, though. That's what I'm saying. That's what makes Utah special. It's like you have Michigan and Ohio, which is one of the greatest rivalries ever, but that's from two different states. I'm talking about no other state in this great country of the US of A has a rivalry like Utah and BYU in terms of college within the same state.
No,
it's not out there, man.
That. I don't know about that.
That's just my opinion, but I think that it would be right on the money to get a team, the St. George. It's always warm, always warm. That right there, I know players would love to flock to a warm climate. You're outside. I mean, look at that view right there. That's a beautiful shot of the mountains. You know what I mean? Like kind of almost reminds you of like Phoenix in Arizona. Just this gorgeous red rock. St. George is a beautiful place, and it's just going to be getting bigger and bigger. But let's take a look at some of these logos.
Oh, let me move to it.
Oh no.
I didn't add them, but that's okay. Right. Let me.
So JD and I basically were just kind of flipping through, and all of them ended up with there were snakes because we chose the copperheads, but they all had like arms and stuff.
Here, I got it right here. I got it. I'll move it on over here. 1 second.
All right, no worries. But I really do think that we could create. I love the snake basketball. That one on the left is my favorite, man.
You know, some of them, like it just, with AI, it can't really get the words exact, but you can kind of get the general idea of it. Yeah. This one looks like a snake as a basketball, like you're saying.
I love AI.
Here's another one here.
Yeah, snake with arms. It's so great. That's fantastic. All right, JD, let's move on. Let's move on to the next one.
Okay. We've got Birmingham, Alabama. I'll take the reins here on this one.
Lead the way.
Everybody knows that Alabama football and even Alabama basketball, we saw them be one of the top teams in college NCAA.
Yep.
But Alabama, they are just diehard, passionate football people,
Yeah.
And I think that if you put a pro sport in there, something like NBA, and there's pro sports, but something like the NBA, you could have just like a huge fan base with a ton of untapped potential right there. And that being said, too, I think Birmingham is one of the biggest metropolitan areas in the South. So it's just like, it would be a good idea to do. You've already seen how people flock to their college sports. And if you add something like a pro basketball team, you could really get somewhere with it.
Yeah, and so I agree 100%.
We looked at some potential names here. We've got Birmingham Blazers, Mobile Marshals, Alabama Ironclads, which I thought was a cool one. We've got the Stars, the Birmingham Barons. Those two were the ones that we thought were the coolest there, and so we made some logos based off of that. We'll move over to that. And so we've got the Alabama Stars right here. Kind of a fun thing. Has a very similar logo as the Crimson Tide, but you get what you get, right?
Yeah, you get what you get with AI, man. You get snakes with arms and you get crazy stuff.
But it's still sweet, you know?
Yeah, and I agree, man. I think there's a huge untapped market there. I didn't even think about that. But they're also a very rabid fan base the way we are here in Utah. That's
exactly.
That's high thinking right there, dude. You're right on that one.
Okay, we've got the Birmingham Barons as another potential one. I
like that one on the left.
Dude, I like the one on the right, but I think it's cool. Like, it's got the city in the back, kind of fun. I feel like this one on the right just kind of gives this like rustic, cool feeling. I like the red undertone that it adds to it.
Yeah, I like those. Man, AI, dude, technology, things we can do with it.
Yeah, we got another one here too.
Oh, all right. That's not bad.
Yeah. And for our final one, I'm going to move over here, share the screen here, and then I will put it on.
Sounds good. So this one I think is also a no-brainer. In this scenario, the Minnesota Timberwolves get relocated to Seattle. Look, I know the Minnesota fan base appreciates their team, and I love you guys for it. But let's be real. They have been poorly managed for quite some time. You guys have, not you guys, Minnesota, but the team, the front office, has been scrutinized for making underhanded deals. They've been getting in trouble. They've gotten in trouble. They've lost draft picks before because they promised things to players and then never ponied up, essentially. And the team has not been able to actually be competitive until last year? When it's the first year? I mean, everyone remembers like Pat Bev ripping off his jersey, crying like he had just won the title because they made the playoffs. And while that was 2 years ago, excuse me. And while they were pretty competitive against Denver still mushed them out, you know? So I just, with a playoff drought for as long as they've had, I just think it might be in the best interest of that team to try to relocate to a place like Seattle. Once again, guys, I'm not trying to talk trash on Minnesota. We love you guys. This is a fun little, scenario. You guys could say that the Utah Jazz should get moved, and I wouldn't hate on you for it. Everyone has an opinion. But Seattle is one of those cities that is starving for a basketball team. Ever since they lost OKC, they've been talking and trying to get someone to buy. I mean, there are billionaires there that want to buy teams and just bring them back, even in expansion where, let's say Minnesota doesn't move, like there should still be an expansion team that goes to Seattle. I think that's just facts. Seattle's a fantastic city. I lived in Washington while I was serving for 5 years. One of my favorite places to go was Seattle. Just because it's lively, it's vibrant, there's a good atmosphere, and they love their sports. They absolutely deserve to have the Seattle Supersonics come back. It would, that'd be a beautiful thing, honestly.
It's definitely been a travesty having the Sonics be moved or relocated after they had such a great fan base and adoring fans, but nothing to do with OKC. OKC also has a great fan base too, but
yes, they do.
I think everybody thinks Seattle deserves a team.
Yeah, everyone. I think Seattle and Vegas would be the obvious picks. But yes, I 100% agree. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching. We have a couple of videos coming your way. We're going to be announcing another giveaway very soon. You guys are listening or watching the Full Court Press podcast. Thanks so much for stopping by. We'll see you guys next time.
Thank you for watching another episode of the Full Court Press NBA podcast. For the full podcast, click the link below and subscribe for more hoops content.